Welcome everyone to another Chat with Charnie. Today we have an awesome and special guest, Conrad, all the way from Malta. I'm not going to introduce him at all. I'm going to give him the floor. Conrad, tell us more about yourself. Tell us where you are and how life is currently.
Hi, Charnie. Thanks for having me. Yes, so I grew up in South Africa and I moved about 2 years ago. I moved to Malta and now I'm currently living here as an auditor, so in external auditing and just enjoying the sun, the beaches, um, living a bit more carelessly, if I can call it like that,
Oh,
or more
lekker.
chilled compared to South Africa. So it's much better work-life balance. And yes, so a bit of background about myself. I think
Yes, please
me
tell
and
us.
Shawnee met on an audit there in Stellenbosch. We were auditing a gym, and I don't think a lot of auditing took place. We were mostly just watching the people do push-ups and sit-ups and
Oh my
and looking
goodness,
at them.
don't
But
expose
yes,
us
so
now.
I grew up in Paarl and I started BAc in Stellenbosch and then I started doing academic articles and then I joined a big four firm for 2 years, finished my qualification, and then I decided it's time. I need to go out in the world and see what's out there. And that's how I arrived in Malta basically.
But so now, why Malta? I'm sure there was like other opportunities or other places that you could go to because, as South Africans, we don't know much about places like Malta, Bermuda, Cayman Islands. So tell us more why Malta and how this opportunity actually came up to move there.
Yes, yes. No, so Malta is definitely not a place that is on a lot of our radars. And
Yeah.
actually, my journey has been a bit interesting. When I first, so I always knew that I wanted to go live abroad, not necessarily permanently, but I wanted to travel and see other cultures and that type of thing. So when I initially started through my firm's mobility program, I actually applied first in New York and then I didn't get that. So obviously coming from a smaller firm, we didn't have a lot of FS or financial services, so I didn't get that. Then I took a bold move and I actually applied in Rome. So
Oh wow, Italy.
yes, Italy, but it was not an assurance role. So it was
Okay.
a accounting role. So the English was fine, and basically that went on a long time. I went to the final interview, and they said I must stay in South Africa for another 6 months and learn Italian because they were afraid of my integration in the society,
Oh
which I
wow.
fully understood at that
Yeah.
time. But at that time, I was like, listen, the best thing for me now is to just go to any place. I don't want to stay in South Africa another 6 months. I'm ready. I've been waiting for this. And then one of my friends actually mentioned Malta. So obviously I went and I googled it, and this was also close to the almost end of the year. So people tend to start getting a bit, I would say, desperate. So you want to get a job, you want to go out, that's your goal. And I looked at it on Google and it looked great. And I applied and I got it. And um, life in Malta is really, yes, it's something else, I would say. It's really, really hard. It's really, like coming from Paul is hard, and Stellenbosch is hard. But
Yes.
this place, now, it's something different.
So
Um,
like what do you mean by hot? Like is it like 40 degrees Celsius, 38? Like give us a range. What are we working with?
No, so actually the temperature is not that high. It's like 34, but then the
Okay.
humidity comes in and it feels
Oh
like
goodness.
45. And it's the thing that's the worst part of this is it's actually like this for 300 days of the year. I think Malta has like 330
Oh
days of
my my.
sunshine. So
Okay,
it
but that's
doesn't rain.
bliss. That is
No, so
blissful though.
so you would think, so I would get to that. Actually, when I chose the countries, I chose Malta because of the sunshine. I mean, so for me, the months of July and August, so peak summer
Yeah, in
in
Europe.
Europe, that's a bit hot. So then it becomes a bit, um, yeah, it's very humid. But again,
Mm.
then you live very close to the beaches and
Oh
you can
nice.
go swim. But the rest of the year, I mean, it's sunny. You can go play tennis. You can go not. You can go swim, and it doesn't rain. It
So
doesn't.
nice.
There's no. You don't. I just told my roommate actually because today it's actually raining a bit. And I
Oh,
told my
wow.
roommate, since I've arrived in Malta, I've never purchased an umbrella. I've never
Ah,
had an umbrella.
so nice.
So there is some
So
days it
nice.
rains, but it's like this short burst that's
Mm.
5 minutes and then it stops. So no, so I mean, there's a big South African community in Malta as well. I mean, it's
Oh, that's lovely.
yes. So if you think about Europe and you think of the countries that is more sunshine prone, you are typically thinking of Greece, Italy,
Spain.
Portugal, Spain. So those
Yeah,
countries all have a bit like very difficult barriers to entry because of the language.
that is
You
true.
need to speak Italian, you need to speak Greek. But Malta it's about 40 by flight, probably about 50 minutes from Italy, and there's even a ferry to Sicily. So
So
it's and
nice.
it's and it's English. The main language is English. So
Oh,
a lot of South
lovely.
Africans are coming here because the weather are very similar to South Africa, except there's not
Mm.
really that much winter. So there's a big South African community and more people coming in as well into Malta and come settling down here in Malta.
So, speaking about more people coming there must be a reason. So, tell us, what is your quality of life in Malta compared to that when you were in South Africa in terms of like work-life balance, activities that you can go out and do, and just like the liquorness of being there? What is it like?
No, so that it is very lacquer, I must admit. So in South Africa, I think it will differ. It will differ because it depends also
Hmm,
on the quality of life you had in South Africa. In South
true.
Africa, I had I would say a very good quality of life, and I would say that in Malta, there's definitely certain areas of my life where I feel like it did downgrade. So I do have it's a bit worse off, but there's other
Mhm.
areas where it's a lot better.
So, tell us
So
about those areas where you think that took a dip.
so for me, obviously, I'm quite a big guy and I enjoy food. And meat in Malta is something that I really struggle to find good quality meat. So something like that. It's
Oh,
very simple, but
yeah.
obviously it has an impact if you are prone to eating certain types of food
Mm.
and you want that food. It's difficult if you do not. I mean, Malta is a very small island. It's
Yes, it is.
about 26 kilometers by 33 kilometers. So they import all their food. It's really small. They don't farm really a lot. So all the
Yeah.
food comes imported. So in terms of quality of life, I would say overall it definitely improved. So areas
Mm.
I think that is clearly better is definitely safety, which I think
Oh,
is for the
lovely.
majority of Europe.
Of Europe, yes, true.
I still find myself, I was lucky in South Africa. I was never subject to any violence or crime or anything like that. But I always, when I woke up at night, go to the bathroom, you look in the corridor, you're like, oh, is there someone? Okay, now I'm safe. And I
Yeah,
found myself
unfortunately.
in Malta. I also do that. And then I halfway
Mm.
through the hallway, I'm like, oh no, you are in Malta, you are safe.
Mm.
So the safety is really a big up step, I think. Um, and then as auditors working in South Africa, we do work a lot, and
Mm.
that is, I think, one of the things that is the best. It's the work-life balance here. I mean,
Oh,
my
lovely.
specific firm, and most of the big four firms has sort of this summer hour principle. So where you work in winter and you work, let's say, till 7. We really work till 12 or 11 or stuff like that. Like
Oh, that must be so nice.
it is. It is. It does get a bit busy at times. At times you do a bit like till 11, but it's not the overall theme. So
Mm.
it's more or less very flexible. The bookings. It's very good work-life balance. And then in summer, obviously, as you've been also now in Europe, this Europeans they just stop everything and they just go on holidays and they don't want to
Yeah,
work.
3 o'clock, you out the door.
Exactly. So we actually in summer work only till about 2.
Oh,
Um,
please, just keep quiet. Oh, my word.
exactly. But
It's so
obviously now
unfair.
with COVID, it did change now a bit. But generally, we worked in. We're not that busy in summer. So, I mean, people when I first last year when I started, the people would like come in to work in their clothes, have a bag with their swimming clothes, and then they're out the door to going directly.
Oh, liquor. Like, so what's the language
So,
that they speak in Malta then, like the local people? What do they
so
speak?
the local people speak Maltese, which is like
Maltese.
a, a a combination of Arabic and
Okay.
I don't know what other language. I think it has African influence as well, and
It
maybe
sounds
some.
it sounds very like exotic like.
It's very yes. It's not. It's very difficult to learn. I mean, I think even the local people here, like the younger people, they typically don't. They speak Maltese, but not that good anymore because the language is
Okay.
almost phasing out because it's so difficult to learn, and the majority of people just speak English. So even when they speak
Okay.
Maltese to each other, they speak Maltese, and then they have like they throw in English words in between. So they mix and match a lot. So it's really everyone speaks English, and yes. But other than that, okay, we were on what is still, what areas of my life is better. Um, the beaches. So
Of
let me tell you
course.
about the beach. So the beaches is, so I was, it's not beach, it's not sandy beaches, first of all. There's like four
Okay.
or five sandy beaches in Malta. And it's more, um, it's more, what do you call it, rocky beaches. So
Oh,
that
like
means
people stones and like stones and stuff.
not, not even pebble stone. So it's more, it's a rock and then it's a sea directly. So you jump in from the rock.
Oh,
So it's not really
it's
that
one
there's
of those vibes. Okay.
yeah. So it's not like a there's pebbles and and you lie on the pebbles. There is some of these beaches, but the ones I enjoy are the ones where it's solid rock and basically they have ladders. So you climb off the rock into the sea with the ladder, or you jump
Oh,
in.
nice.
And initially I was like, oh, I like sand. I want the sandy
Mm.
beaches. But now I'm a convinced man. I like the rocky beach.
So they
I've
converted you.
yes, because I plan my holidays now these days on going to beaches, and then I go to the sandy beaches and I find myself, oh, I get tired because everything is full of sand, and rocky
Mm.
beaches is just like so perfect. You put your towel down, you read, you jump in the
Oh,
water. The
so
water is so
nice.
hot, so hot. It's so blue. So no, the beach life is also very, very nice. And and also on a more, I think, personal note as well. You know, in South Africa, I always felt like the culture there is also very, I wouldn't say judgmental, but it was a bit judgmental in the sense that
You can say it.
for
It
me
is
personally, I
judgmental.
wasn't always comfortable. Yeah, okay, let's say it. Taking off my shirt or doing what I want. And you
Mm.
know, here in Malta, the people just really don't care. Like you can run there as if you are the new Baywatch king. They really don't care. So
Yeah.
it comes with so much freedom, and I think it's for the rest of Europe as well. It comes with so
Yes,
much freedom
I
that
think so too.
you don't feel like people are actually watching you or
Watching you.
criticizing you or being like, yes. No, so the beaches was really a nice thing. But I think as you get accustomed to living in any place, and I think it works in any country that you decide to go to, you get almost accustomed to it, and then you fall into this trap of taking it for granted.
Yeah.
It's almost like the swimming pool thing. So when you get a swimming pool at your house, the first year everyone
That's
swims,
so
and
true.
after year five, no one swims.
No one
So
even
even
looks at
now,
the
it's like
pool.
exactly like your dad is the only one going to clean it once in a while. At the end, he's the only one swimming.
Oh
No,
my word.
but I think that that is a human thing that happens almost in any country that's going to happen.
Yeah. So Conrad, you love the beaches. The work-life balance is amazing. But now there's a question that all of us, I think, want to know. Well, one of the questions that all of us want to know. How many places have you traveled to? Tell us the details. Tell us how quick it is to fly. Tell us how cheap it is to fly. Tell us the
Okay.
favorite place that you've been to and the best food that you've eaten outside of South Africa and Malta.
Okay. So just a bit of let's track back. So when I decided to go abroad, my main reason was traveling. This was my priority from the get-go. I was like, I don't care if I don't save any money. I want to travel. So in my first year, I arrived in. So first of all, when I went to Malta, which is a bit of a barrier to entry, maybe it has changed now. But when I went from South Africa to Malta, there wasn't a Malta embassy in South Africa where you can actually apply for a visa. So what
Okay.
happened to me was I actually went to Egypt, applied in Egypt, So what happened was I was in I think for 3 weeks in Egypt,
Oh
and
my
basically
word.
the work sponsored that. So they said,
Oh,
go to the
lovely.
hotel. We will pay for the hotel. We will pay for transport. We paid for our own food, of course. And so I went to Egypt, and then I went to Istanbul, and then for a week, and then to Malta. So then I arrived in February, and so obviously February, the first month, is always sorting out your visa,
Mhm.
sorting out your work permits, getting ready. And then I actually, from March onwards, I traveled every month. Every month I did a
Look
country.
at you.
Yes. So in March I went for 5 days. I went to Paris to watch Roland Garros. So there I watched.
Nice.
Actually, it was a highlight. I watched Serena. We watched Nadal. We
Oh,
watched
nice.
um, um, Kai Nishikori. We watched like all. There was like one day where there's 4 matches a day where we actually watched like the top 10 players were just playing back to back. Um, and it was
That
so
must have been
affordable
so
as well.
awesome.
It was so affordable as well. You would think that that is expensive, and I know some of these big four Grand Slams are really expensive, but actually Roland Garros is not. So I've been to a lot of countries. I haven't counted yet. I'm more of a like when I decided to come to Malta. One of the big things are for me the sun. Like my how would I say my emotional state of mind doesn't really do well with a lot of rain and cloud cover and stuff like that.
Oh, then you wouldn't do well in Ireland at all. So I'm very glad you didn't come
Yes, no, no,
here. No.
no. I cannot. So I prefer the sun. So I prefer to travel to Italy, Greece.
Mm.
I've been to France 2 times. I've been to Spain. Um, so I've actually visited Italy about 3 or 4 times. So I've been to all the major places in Italy.
Lovely.
Because Italy's
I
the
love
flights
Italy.
are, I think, so to Rome. I went on my birthday. I went to Rome, and I'm not Catholic,
Mhm.
but we actually went on my birthday to go see Pope Francis.
Oh,
He had like
wow.
a mass, and we went and saw him. Um,
Okay.
sorry. So I've traveled really a lot, and the flights. Okay, so the flights from Malta is really inexpensive. So Malta is obviously a very big. The majority of the country comes from, I would say, tourism. So what happens? A lot of people from London, all over Europe, comes to Malta
Yeah.
um, for holidays, and that gives them almost because obviously now they need to get a return flight, so they need to fly the plane back at some stage. So they can offer very cheap flights as well. So I booked
Yeah.
a trip now for next week to Naples in Italy to go to the Amalfi Coast. My flight was 20 euros return. I've never paid
What?
more
These things?
I've never paid more than 70 euros for a flight. And so
Wow.
your Italy flights, because Italy takes about 55 minutes to 1 hour and 20 minutes, depending on the region. So that
Yeah.
flight typically is 20 to, I would say 15 is almost your price range. Then if you go to Spain, you can find really cheap flights to Spain as well. Greece is about 60. So I go to Greece. I've been to Greece now in August for a week. Went to one of the Greek islands. Um, I've been to Greece twice now. Greece is amazing. The food is. But yes, so my favorite countries are definitely for food, Italy. I mean, the
Of
food
course.
there,
It's beautiful. It's
like,
lovely.
when you sit in South Africa, you hear all these people and you see all these people on Instagram talking about the food. And then you go there and you're like, oh, it can't be that good. I've eaten a lot of pasta and pizza in my life. And then you go sit down and you eat, and you're like, what? It's
It's so
so,
beautiful you want to cry.
it's so perfect.
I
In Rome,
know.
we went to the same place so many times because the food is just like, and the thing is, it's so cheap, especially for you guys coming from Ireland, where it's a bit more expensive.
It is.
Um,
It is.
Italy is like a haven for you guys. So obviously Malta is a country where it's less expensive than places like London, Ireland, and
Mm.
stuff like that. But your salary is also lower. So for us to travel to Ireland, for example, it becomes expensive. Whereas if we go to
Mm.
Spain, Greece, even France to an extent, Italy, the price levels are very much the same. Like I would say Italy and Greece are slightly cheaper than Malta, for example. So my
Okay.
favorite country for food is definitely Italy, and
Italy is amazing for food. I
beaches
agree.
definitely Greece. You need to. Have you been to Greece?
No, it's like still on my bucket list. Greece and Croatia is the two places I still need to go to. And
So Greece is difficult. It's difficult because you know the language. You can't really read
yes,
it. It's not
yeah.
always easy. But so we actually went to two sides. So we went to the Thessaloniki side, and then we went to
Okay.
I can't remember what was the region called, but it's like very, wilderness in South Africa,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wilderness. So it's almost like that. So it's this beaches, this crystal clear water. There's no rocks. It's just sand. You can see to the bottom,
Oh
and
my
at your
word.
back is like this woods with houses against the hill. No, so traveling from Malta is it's really nice. It's very affordable, the flights, um, and it's very easy to get out. I mean, Malta is small, so people
Mm,
tend to they want to escape once in a while
I can
to
imagine.
go see the other places and stuff. So the Maltese people also travel a lot. They do
Mm,
travel, like, I would say once in 3 months, but I took it to the extreme. So last year I traveled, yes, every month, and then December
every month.
we did like this nice December Euro trip where we went to Germany,
Fun.
Switzerland,
Yeah,
Poland,
must be nice.
and Czech Republic, and I tried to
Oh,
ski, but I am not a skier and I'm not good at skiing. I think I survived like 2 minutes, and I was like, "Get me out of this boots. I
okay,
want
I'm
to
done now.
just take the photo." No, so but then it was then I experienced for the first time, I think, the cold that you guys
Mm,
get in Ireland and stuff, and it wasn't. It was
not for
nice.
you.
No, but it's so cold. Like I cannot. I don't even know how people do it. But yeah, so then I went to those countries. I mean, we had a very nice experience there because one of my closest friends I met here in Malta it's a Polish guy. So we went to spend Christmas with him in
Oh,
Poland
that's lovely.
in like the small village with his mom and dad. And his mom and dad couldn't speak English. So, and that we had like a traditional Polish Christmas. So interesting as well. For example, they would set an extra plate whenever someone knocks and to say they're hungry. You need to They can join the table. So it's things like
That
that you
is
would
such
never
an awesome
experience.
tradition. I think we
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
all of us want to know. Since you've been away from home almost for 2 years now, what is the thing that you miss the most about South Africa?
Yes. So to be honest, I don't really miss a lot of things from South Africa. Like I've always said that I would definitely return to South Africa. It's my country. It's the country that I
Yes,
love. It has
yes,
the people that I love. I'm very adamant
yes.
that I will return. The only thing I'm missing, apart from family and friends, which I think Zoom and Skype and all of these things has made it very easy to keep in touch, and we're on the same time zone as South Africa, so that doesn't create a problem for me. The thing that I miss the most probably is the meat.
Yeah, I was gonna say me.
It's the meat. It's like I brought the braai here in Malta, so I have a braai, en so is soos boerewors. So I have
Okay, nice.
boerewors. So
Lekker,
I
nice.
am able to braai, but it's not the same. It's not like it doesn't have that. You kry nie skaapchoppies. Jy weet skaapchoppies wat so lekker vetterig is hier.
So what Conrad is saying is that there aren't any lamb chops. You can't find like nice lamb chops in Malta.
Oh, there is lamb chops, but then it's so expensive. Then I'm like,
Oh
oh, I don't want
yeah.
to buy the whole lamb. So no, so I think probably it's the meat. Um, like a few of my friends that have actually gone back to South Africa and then they ask, can they bring me something? What do I want? And then I think of like chocolate snacks, but there's not really something that I miss from that category.
Yeah.
I don't miss driving. Like I used to love driving, but now I'm like, don't have to drive, love it.
Don't
I
have
don't have,
to own a car, nothing. Oh, it's blissful.
I don't have to worry about putting petrol in or finding parking. So I don't miss that. Like I don't miss. Yes, no. So
But what about Table Mountain? What about Stellenbosch? What about Lion's Head? What about those things? Do you miss any of those things?
no, I think
Okay.
why I don't miss it is because I get to see so much else. I get to see
Yes.
the world. I get to
Yes.
see, I mean, I go to Greece. I get to eat the food. I get to go to the Vatican. I get to go to things that I think we all know how Table Mountain looks, and we all know we're going to return to Table Mountain. It's not going to change, but you haven't gone to the Vatican. You haven't seen um,
Very valid. Very
people
valid.
throwing the coins over their shoulder and
Yeah.
proposing and things like that. So I think
Yeah, I
that has
agree.
helped me not to miss um, those things. I do miss like Stellenbosch, the vibe in Stellenbosch, but
Yeah.
I think for now it's almost as if the reason I came, the travel reason I came, is overpowering all that things that I can potentially miss.
Oh no, I
That's
completely agree
beautiful.
with you. And then lastly, you've gone through all of these experiences. You've had beautiful experiences, met amazing people. You've eaten amazingly delicious food in Italy, as you've told us. Tell us, what advice would you give like younger South Africans or the younger version of you that's busy sitting at home at the moment in South Africa? What advice would you give them if they want to, travel and see the world?
Yes, so I'm adamant because I actually had a call last week with South Africans, third years, that want to know how life is in Malta. And like my opinion is really do it. Do it, do it, do it. It's like I don't care what country you go to. I think the world has a way to work out. If you now believe in whatever religion, it has a way to work out. I mean, I've been through rejection by New York, Italy, and some of my friends were rejected and they got into other places and now they are extremely happy. So I think for me, it's definitely something that is scary, but it's worth it. And it's something that I think as CAs, the world is wide and you can go any place that has English as a language. And I would definitely say if you have the capability to go, so your life in South Africa is not, you don't have people depending on you or stuff like that, definitely do it. Go, embrace the opportunity. Don't try to overthink it or over research or for me, I was not one that over researched that much. So I researched like a normal, okay, what am I gonna do and stuff like that. But I think part of the joy is arriving and being uncertain, learning about yourself, how you deal with stress if things doesn't work out, how you deal with these challenges. So for me, it's definitely do it. Go get the place you want to go to, apply, if you don't get it, it's fine. Apply to the next one. Um,
So, Conrad, next, and I know you're very excited for this, it's the 30-second rapid questions where you get to tell us more about yourself. So, questions that you haven't answered yet. Are you ready?
yes, yes, let's do it.
Okay. So, let me know when you can see the timer.
Okay, I can see you. Yes, okay, I can see it.
Okay. So, we're going to start. Are you ready?
Yes, go.
Okay. Go. Favorite city in the world?
Rome.
Favorite foreign meal or dish?
Gnocchi.
Furthest you've ever traveled?
The what?
The furthest you've ever traveled?
Germany, Egypt, I don't know.
Your favorite South African dish?
Braaivleis.
Your next travel destination?
Italy.
The first thing you'll do post COVID?
To be honest, I'm doing everything that I'm doing pre-COVID. I'm doing post-COVID and in COVID. So I've been traveling. I've been doing everything.
So there's basically no COVID for you. Basically, there's no COVID. There's
So
only travel, no travel.
yeah, so our COVID was we had a bit of a wave and then it stopped and now it's back, but it's not really that intense. So I was still able to travel and do everything I want to do. So
Oh,
not really anything I would do post COVID.
well, you managed to answer 6 questions.
Can we do another lightning round, like a
Firstly,
rematch?
this is not how we do things. You got 50 seconds.
So are you
Everyone
gonna create?
else, everyone else is gonna get 30 seconds. So that is it. You got
Are you
6
gonna create a
questions.
leaderboard? Am I first on the leaderboard?
You're going to be first on the leaderboard with
Great,
regards to
great,
this
great.
series. You're going to be first on the leaderboard. But we have other South Africans coming up, and they might,
I'm ready
they
for the
might
challenge.
beat you. But thank you so much, Conrad, for your time. Thank you for sharing your experiences. Thank you for sharing your advice. I think it's so helpful. And it's so important for other South Africans to know that they can do it. The ones that are sitting at home that are struggling with the question, should I leave? Can I leave? Will I be able to make it out there? It's important for them to see other South Africans doing it, being successful, enjoying themselves, traveling, seeing the world, and even coming back home and say, and being willing to go back home and share it with their family, share it with their friends, but most importantly, just share it with also other people that they don't know, so that they can also make that brave decision. So
Yes.
thank you, Conrad.
And I mean, if you can survive South Africa, you can survive Europe, you can survive US. I think it's really just it's a will to see the world, and going abroad doesn't have to mean that you're gonna go forever. It doesn't have to mean that you're gonna stay settle your life here now and get married and have children. It could just be an experience. I mean, in our profession, there's short-term secondments, there's long-term secondments, there's so many options. I think my advice to listeners is take the plunge, give yourself the opportunity to decide if you like it or not, to decide if this is what you want or not. And it's not difficult. It has its challenges, but
Yes,
so is staying in South Africa. So is staying in your home country with your home firm. That also has challenges.
sure.
So best risk it and maybe get the biscuit. We are brilliant South Africans. We can do it. And
Amen. We
yes,
are.
so I think thanks for creating this platform for all the people.
Okay. It's a pleasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.